A beautiful night for baseball in the southeast quadrant of the nation's capital here at the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball Academy. Just a hop, skip, and a jump over the Anacostia River from one of the original homes for baseball in the 21st century here in Washington, D.C., RFK Stadium, as you saw there, as we welcome you here inside the Youth Baseball Academy in Southeast D.C., Ben Bobek and Tyler Gallo, for this presentation of Big Train TV as the Bethesda Big Train come down here to take on the D.C. Grays in the second of this season series. And Tyler, last time we were here, Big Train got a close 6-4 victory, had to close it out with some sweat on their brow in the ninth inning. And they come into tonight, as we said during the pregame show, after a little bit of a layoff due to a rain delay Monday night, a scheduled day off yesterday. What do you need to see from them tonight as they look to pick right back up where they left off?
Well, you know, in the last game, they played a lot of air traffic control in that one by relying heavily on the long balls from Rocco Pepe and Matt Thomas. But in this one, they need to do more small ball and string together a lot more runs. Because the way we've seen them win games this year is by stringing together a lot of runs and in droves, and not just on the long ball. Well, the long balls have helped this year. It's not all their offenses. They've driven in a lot of runs on base hits and errors and capitalizing on teams' mistakes. And this is a team that made a lot of mistakes the last time we were here when the ball wasn't hit to second base at Vandenberg. So I think they should just continue that tonight.
Beautiful night for baseball, as we said. 74 degrees, clear, few white clouds dotting the blue sky here in Southeast D.C. as Riley Johnson, the center fielder leading off tonight for the Big Train, gets ready to step in the box and see the first pitch from the lefty Cooper Vest on the bump for D.C. tonight. Kyle Velasquez, the designated hitter, hitting second. Danny Neary, the catcher, behind them. Rocco Pepe at third base. Kemp Alderman in left field. Nolan Shanuel at first base. Trevor Doyle in right. Christian Martin at second. Keith Torres at short. Rounds out the batting order for Big Train head coach Sal Colangelo tonight on the 23rd of June. So we have first pitch at 7:07 here from D.C., and it's a strike in there on Johnson. Johnson's made a few consecutive appearances here for Big Train since arriving late out of East Carolina. Of course, they hosted a regional in College World Series play. And it's 1-1 here on Johnson. Vest delivers, chopped up towards second base, collected there, and flipped on to first to get the speedy Johnson. Good play there from Patrick Vandenberg in the second base hole onto Tarkenton for D.C. And you mentioned that just before that, Vandenberg was very busy on defense the last time these two teams played.
Yeah, and he is a vacuum out there at second base. Made some sparkling plays out there in the infield. And, you know, when the ball's hit to him, he will probably make the play. So they should just place it anywhere else but second base. So
middle infielder normally, designated hitter tonight, it's Kyle Velasquez out of St. Mary's of California. So he takes the first one in there. Vest goes into a long windup, and it's another strike in there on Velasquez.
Talked a lot last time about the shadows here at the Nationals Youth Academy, and they might play a factor in this game.
As Velasquez fouls the 0-2 pretty much right on line to us here on the short porch on the right field side, just above the Big Train bullpen below us. Not a bad angle, especially with the sun parked behind a cloud for the foreseeable time, as the 0-2 delivered in there at the knees. It's a punch out for Kyle Velasquez and two quick outs for Cooper Vest in D.C.
Yeah, just a big out to get if you're Cooper Vest, a guy that's had a really solid start to this season. And, you know, Velasquez, a huge out to get to start things off.
So Danny Neary, who has quickly established himself as an offensive threat in this Big Train order since arriving from Notre Dame just about a week ago. Last Friday down in Gaithersburg was his first start as he takes ball one in the proverbial dirt. Old Turf Field here at the Nationals Youth Academy. And the 1-0 just misses on the outside for ball two. So behind the pitcher Vest as he comes set here for the 2-0. and misses again low on the outside to give a 3-ball count to Danny Neary. Behind him in center field and leading off Scott Bandura, Patrick Vandenberg hits second, plays second. Jay Tarkenton hits third, and he's at first. Peter Costigan cleans up. He's in left field. Cam Bufford at shortstop. Jared Spraglott at third base as the 3-0 is in there for a strike. Sam Kaplan is the right fielder. Vest will hit eighth. He's the pitcher and the designated hitter to start us off tonight. And Ben Avila, no word yet on if there's any relation to Alex, as this one is chopped to who else but Vandenberg at second, over to Tarkenton at first. And it's a 1-2-3, top of the first for the Bethesda Big Train DC to start things off for themselves offensively when we come back here on Big Train. Scott Bandura, Patrick Vandenberg, he of oft work at second base, and Jay Tarkenton will lead off the bottom of the first for Reggie Terry, a former Big Train assistant himself. Now the bench boss for DC, along with Jimmy Williams, Trey Terry. Andre Rabuin is the pitching coach, as Jake Eddington out of the University of Alabama on the bump for the Big Train pours in strike one to Bandura. James Beasley is the DC bullpen coach, as this one a little outside. Neary can't knock that one down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bandura out of Princeton. Bats left, throws right. And chops the 1-1 way foul back behind the concourse press box area behind home plate. And it'll be 1-2 from Eddington. Eddington, an up and down year so far with Big Train in his 2 starts since getting here. A little bit late as well from Alabama, as he fires the 1-2 in there, just misses outside for ball 2. Eddington, first start, gave up 7 runs in one of the Big Train's only 2 losses. That was to Alexandria, their first of the year, and now gets another swinging foul back into the screen. Count will stay even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But last time against Silver Spring came out 5 very strong innings for Eddington, just 1 run allowed. And he poured in 9 strikeouts as well, as he looks for his first of the day here on Bandura, who's just looking to stay alive as he fouls another one back into the screen.
Yeah, Bandura was very late on that ball. He was lucky to foul it off behind him.
So Eddington working quickly here into the windup for the 1-2. Delivers, swing, and a miss. And it's strikeout 1 of many to come on the night for Jake Eddington as Bandura goes down swinging.
Yeah, big strikeout there to start things off. Always want to get the leadoff hitter out, and if you fan him, it's even better.
So it'll be Vandenberg out of Lafayette College, righty-righty, wearing number 8 in white tonight. Classic uniforms, just white and navy for DC as he takes strike one straight over the pipe from Eddington, picking up right where he left off with Bandora. Gets the new sign from Nerai, now comes into the windup. Delivers this one a little low for ball one. Slight breeze blowing in from behind home plate. DC and American flags fluttering just in front of us as the 1-1 is again fouled back into the screen by a new DC batter in Vandenberg. And again, the count goes to 1-2. Eddington wipes off the signs from Nerai. Comes set, hands at the belt. Into the windup. And fires in the 1-2, popped up in the air down the left side. And out of play, count stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. Andrew Peltola, the home plate umpire. Howard Jorns at third base. Andy Simons at first. Again, set for the 1-2 is Eddington. And this one is cracked up the middle for a base hit. And Vandenberg will reach as he lines one straight up the middle of the Bethesda Big Train infield for the first hit of the night for either squad.
Yeah, and already making himself known as a Big Train killer this season. You know, he went 2 for 4 his last time against this team, and now 1 for 1 already. Made some sparkling defensive efforts in the field as well, so already making himself known as a Big Train killer.
The righty first baseman, Jay Tarkenton, to the dish now. Out of Old Dominion. Check back on Vandenberg at first from the lefty Eddington on the bump. And he'll toe that rubber again, this time from the stretch for the first time. Fair lead off first for Vandenberg. And into the delivery. This one, again, fouled way back towards us off the concourse and over towards the field 3 at the Nationals Youth Academy. And a free baseball for one of the few fans in attendance here tonight. The 0-1 misses low for ball one. Simply a fantastic night for baseball as the 1-1 is swung on and missed by Tarkenton. Nice low off speed there from Eddington, and he's in a spot he's had all 3 batters so far in, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looking to get the second out of this inning. Back foot on the rubber from the stretch, fires. And Nerai thought that was strike 3. Instead, it's a little inside for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Vandenberg leads off first. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. No score yet. And Eddington fires. A little low, full count. Eddington from the belt. Hand set in the stretch. Here comes the 3-2. Check swing. Yes, he did. No swing, but gets punched out on the called strike there from Peltola behind the dish. And it's the second out of this inning for Jake Eddington and the Big Train. And Peter Costigan will look to extend this inning with one runner still on first. And Eddington fires an off-speed changeup in there for strike 1. Certainly has his command down so far tonight. Short lead for Vandenberg off first. Now takes his secondary as the 0-1 fouled back towards the Big Train dugout off the front fence there. And collected by DC first base coach. I believe that's Trey Terry. Good pitch there on 0-2 count. But again, just inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the left fielder, Peter Costigan. Sun's starting to peek out a little bit. Here's the 1-2 high. Costigan able to keep that bat from coming around. Definitely moved the hands as if to start a swing, but the appeal to Andy Simons at first base, absolutely correct. No, he did not. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Eddington again set for the 2-2. Fires this one in there just below the knees. Good breaking ball there. But the count again full on a DC batter.
And he's already done better, which I hate to keep bringing up this start as a benchmark, but he's already fared better in his first inning than he did in his first start of the season.
Here's the 3-2. Runner goes. This one flied into shallow right, and it's going to drop in there for the second base hit of the inning. Over to third is Vandenberg. Runners on the corners here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first as Costigan dropped one right in front of Doyle, the right fielder. Christian Martin, the second baseman, also coming out to try to get under that one, but perfectly placed from Costigan to bring up the shortstop, Cam Bufford.
And just flared into no man's land in right field. Not much Gauthier or anyone else could have done about that at second base. Or, excuse me, Martin or anybody could have done at second base.
We're so accustomed to Austin Gauthier's presence out there, but a night off for him as the first pitch from Eddington to Bufford is in there for a called strike. And the 0-1 fouled into the very top of that screen behind home plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Eddington working quickly, now comes set, fires for the 0-2, swing and a miss. He got him a roundabout way to strike out the side, but it's 3 Ks in the bottom of the first, and Eddington strands 2. DC Grays on base. No score. We head to the top of the first here from the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball. Oh, you haven't unmuted it. Wind starting to pick up here in the top of the second as Vest is back out on the hill for his to start his second inning of work. Comes into the windup against the third baseman Rocco Pepe, who scorches the first pitch fouled down the left field line. Vest in 4 appearances this year, 3 starts, 13 2/3 innings worked, 9 hits allowed, just 2 runs, both of them earned, 5 walks and 14 strikeouts for the utility man Vest, who pumps a curveball in there that breaks well before Rocco Pepe's knees. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He's also a .333 hitter with 1 hit and 2 runs as Pepe skies this one to deep left. Costigan over towards the gap, and Bandura coming in from right to collect that one. Loud fly out for Rocco Pepe on the 1-1 count and the first out of this second inning. So Kemp Alderman to the dish now. Our big train performance of the game last Sunday versus Silver Spring Tacoma. As he takes strike 1, now chops the second pitch over to who else but Vandenberg. Throw high from Vandenberg over to first. And Alderman will reach on the throwing error by the second baseman. So Alderman reaches again, the RBI leader on the team so far, and a massive 5 last time out, including that grand slam home run, 2 for 3 with an RBI single as well. 17 on the year now to eclipse the 16 put up by teammate Matt Thomas in significantly fewer games since his delayed arrival from Ole Miss, and he reaches here to be the first base runner for the big train today on the throwing error again by Vandenberg, the second baseman. First pitch to Sean Ewell, the first baseman, hitting 6th tonight, is in there for a strike.
A surprise E4 from Vandenberg at second base there. He was so short-handed in the last game, ending his 2 chances in the first inning, but there he just doesn't make the play.
This one in the dirt to Sean Ewell. Nolan's had an up and down offensive year as well, but he's been very productive in driving runs home as Vest will come set in the stretch and fire over with that lefty move, maybe in time to get Alderman, who didn't slide back to first, but the tag from Tarkenton not enough to swipe Alderman off the base paths. So 1-1 to Sean Ewell, who homered as well in that last game after he replaced Alderman, and another fire back to check on Alderman at first, and another one pretty close there. Very good lefty move from Cooper Vest. Gets that front leg, knee straight up and delivers straight to first base. Always got to be careful with a lefty pitcher as the 1-1 in there inside. Sean Ewell thought about swinging on that one. Instead has to shuffle out of the box as he takes that one on the inside edge. 2-1. Reminds Andy Peltola. We've seen him a couple times behind the dish. As here's the 2-1, swung on, chopped towards Tarkenton at first. Over to Bufford, the shortstop covering second base to get 1, but Sean Ewell will reach on the 3-6, pardon, fielder's choice.
Yeah, not hit fast enough to get any double play there, and Sean Ewell can actually move down the line, so no surprise there that it was just a fielder's choice.
Sneaky speed for the first baseman, Nolan Sean Ewell, recently named a Rawlings freshman All-American for his performance this past season down at Florida Atlantic, the FAU, as some would say. And so it's 1 on here for Trevor Doyle. 2 outs now in the top of the first. No score yet, but Trevor Doyle would love to move Nolan Sean Ewell over and perhaps threaten a little bit here. 151 ERA on the year for Cooper Vest. He comes set from the stretch, checks over on Sean Ewell and pumps a strike just above the knees into Doyle. 1-1.
It's a bit windy here tonight in Southeast DC.
Yeah, definitely windier than it was last time we were here. Pretty still night, blowing out towards, basically straight towards center, maybe right center if anything, as strike 2 is in there pretty much in the same location on Doyle. So maybe, for these batters, as short as it is, 345 to right center, 325 down the lines, 307 down the left field line, and 326 to the scoreboard in left center. Wind will help a little bit as another check back on a new runner at first base. Tarkenton can't quite handle that one as Sean Ewell slides back safely to first base, but didn't bounce away. Pretty tight foul territory, decent down the line to the first and third base bags, but from there it narrows sharply into the outfield. As here's the 1-2, and Doyle tried to get around on a breaking ball there and ended up being a little ahead of it off the top of the bat, and foul down the left field line. Count will stay. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Vest looks in, gets the signs, comes set, hands at the chest. From the stretch, checks over, fires the 1-2, grounded towards Tarkenton at first. He scoops it up, foul, and we'll do it all again. Matt Olson vibes, perhaps, in Trevor Doyle's batting stance as he stands in there for the 1-2 from Vest and takes a great pitch just outside to even the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on the right fielder tonight out of Sacramento State, Trevor Doyle. Teammates with shortstop Keith Torres due up in the hole at the moment. Christian Martin on deck looking to get a lick here. It's the 2-2. Swung on and lined into left field. That's going to get down, and runners will advance a base each. So first and second for the rising freshman at Virginia Tech, Christian Martin at second base today. 2 outs here in the top of the first, and the first runner in scoring position for Bethesda.
Some good turn at bats here in this inning and making Vest work a little bit. He hasn't had to work too hard this season, but in this one he's had to.
Absolutely. A great turn, especially from Doyle that last time up. Took a lot of pitches in a 1-2 count as chopping the first pitch up the right field line towards hitting coach Sam Bender at the first base box. Collects it, tossed over from Tarkenton back towards the dugout. Nice little relay there. Tarkenton, Bender, dugout. Now Torres, who flips it back over. Baseball is getting plenty of use here. No pearls like you'd see in the major on every pitch. As Martin gives this one a ride towards center field. Coming over is Bandura, slides, and he makes the catch with little effort. So 1 hit and 2 runners left on base. Big Train can't get any across here in the top of the second, pardon. They leave 2 aboard. No score, middle second here at the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball Academy. Jared Sprague-Lott, the third baseman out of the University of Richmond, will lead things off here for DC in the bottom of the second inning, and he starts so by taking breaking ball beautifully in there for Jake Eddington, and it's strike 1 called. Eddington working quickly out of the windup and pumping another strike to Sprague-Lott. It's 0-2.
And after stranding a pair of runners in the first inning, we'll see how Jake Eddington adjusts in his second inning of work. Notoriously, in his second inning, he's struggled when he's gotten to that point. I mean, I think he allowed a few runs in the second inning the last time out, so we'll see what he does here.
Good check swing there from Sprague-Lott to stay alive on the 0-2 count. 1-2. Eddington working quickly and firing this one off the front shoulder of Sprague Lott. Tosses the bat back to the dugout and takes his base after wearing the hit by pitch.
Tosses is a bit of an understatement, Ben. He launched that back at the dugout, threw it at us.
So no outs, one runner on first. Sam Kaplan, the right fielder, stepping into the box. Kaplan out of Cornell. A couple Ivy League guys on this DC roster. And Eddington back into the stretch and fires this one a little inside on Kaplan as well, 1-0.
You'd love for there to be a ground ball here for Eddington to get 2 quick outs as well.
Sure, he'd love that as well.
Yep.
1-1 now to Kaplan, the right fielder, part of the Big Red up there, Ithaca, New York, as Sprague Lott leads off first, and Kaplan swings at a ball in the brown turf as opposed to the green turf, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I believe it's straight up turf throughout the entire field. So some unforgiving bounces on the turf that you have seen. You saw the last time we were here. So we'll have to see if that comes into play tonight as well as the shadows.
Kaplan 286 on the year. Runner thinks about going, now goes as a heater there from Eddington, scoots past Nerai behind the dish. Over to second is Sprague Lott. And it's a runner in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, he feigned like he was going to start off, and then he actually did end up running to second base with the wild pitch.
Righty Eddington, ball folded in his glove against that front of his chest. Back foot on the rubber, comes set, hands at the belt, checks back on the runner at second. Now looks in for the 1-2, fires, swung on, fouled back in the screen. Count stays the same.
Yeah, hefty cut there from Kaplan. He was looking for hoping to get to the downs over there, but unfortunately he fouled it back into the screen.
2 balls and 2 strikes after the wild pitch a moment ago. That's where the count will stay as Eddington comes set again. Kicks and delivers. And this one in the dirt over to third will go Sprague Lott. He'll make the round, but hold up there. Batting gloves scrunched in his hands. See Kemp Alderman do that, a few others. As opposed to the oven mitt. Good way to protect the thumb perhaps as much as you can. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, count full with no outs here to Sam Kaplan.
Kaplan putting together a good turn at bat here.
8 hits, 4 runs scored on the year. 286 batting average as he swings and misses through the full count pitch. And it's strikeout number 4 on the day for the righty Jake Eddington.
Eddington has only recorded strikeouts tonight. Outs only. The only outs have come from strikeouts, so it's been a pretty swing and miss type of night for him.
When he's got the strikeout stuff going, he's hard to beat. Like we said, 9 strikeouts in 5 innings in his last outing, and 4 already so far through 1 1/3. And looking to make it 1 2/3 here as he pours in a strike to start off. Cooper Vest, the pitcher and designated hitter. We went through this scenario when Jack Cohn did this on the Big Train side, as Vest delivers one deep down the right field line, and that's going to stay foul. Out of play just to the right of the 325 sign.
Yeah, and I'll say
Doyle
this.
will send that ball back in. As we said, before you get to your point, Vest can be replaced as a pitcher and stay in as designated hitter.
And that's it. Yeah, but my point was very unforgiving foul territory on both sides, especially in left field.
Really squeezed down each outfield line as this one is sent high in the air again. A little bit of no man's land with the outfield playing deep. Martin on from center. It's going to drop between 4 Big Train defenders. And Jared Sprague Lott will tag from third and come home for the first run of the game to DC.
Fielding error there. Not on anybody, just an error, not
Yeah.
getting to that ball. 4 players converged, and none of them felt. You hate to see that happen to anybody, but it happens quite often. It's going to go as a, it's going to go as a single, but it's a tough single to take.
Doyle in from left, Martin out from second as this one's over to Torres, to Martin, to Shanuel, 6, 4, 3. It's a double play, and the Big Train are out of the inning just like that. But Jared Sprague-Lott gets on base via a leadoff single, comes all the way around to be the first run of the game. It's 1-0 DC. Top of the third coming up next here on Big Strike one in there to Keith Torres out of Sacramento State as he leads things off here for the Big Train in the top of the third rather. Top of the order due up next with Riley Johnson, the center fielder, on deck. 1-1 now to Torres after a ball in there. As Vest, after an RBI pop fly, dropped to center field. Now back on and working a 1-2 count on Torres. We're joined up here in the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth as Torres gets a piece of that one, topping it behind via the catcher. Speaking of catchers, we're joined up here by Grant Knipp out of the University of Alabama. Grant, thanks for coming up here.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. First of all, just tell me about your journey to the Big Train as Torres flies this one beautifully fielded by Sprague-Lott at third. Hot grab there as he flips it over to Tarkenton, who scoops it up for out number 1. First of all, just tell us about your journey, how you got from down south in Tuscaloosa up here to Bethesda.
Yeah, so our pitching coach down in Alabama, Jason Jackson's actually pretty close friends with Sal, and so he got me hooked up with Sal, and Sal gave me a call and asked me if I want to come play for Big Train, and I gave it a shot, and I'm here.
Riley Johnson out of East Carolina, stepping to the box now. Center fielder, grounded out to Vandenberg at second, his first time up. Now, of course, you mentioned the pitching coach at Alabama. The primary connection there is Johnson taps this one off of his foot. Foul called, I believe. Yep. You mentioned the pitching coach connection down there. Of course, a couple of tied pitchers up here with you. Jake Eddington, who's on the mound today, Brock Guffey. I mean, what's the relationship been like with them, being able to come up here and, work with your teammates, but also, having to experiment with new battery mates that you're maybe not as familiar with in such a short time?
Right. It's always awesome to get to catch those guys. I mean, they're really good pitchers, and then they're just good guys in general, so it's always good to catch them and get a better relationship with them on the mound and even off the field. And then coming in catching these other guys, it's always hard to catch a new guy to get to start, but once you get catching them, it starts getting easier and easier, so it's been nice to catch those guys as well.
1-2 to Johnson, or 1-1. Now it's 1-2 to Johnson as he takes a bender in there. 2-2. Thank you. Being corrected off screen here. Always good. I mean, you talked about that. Is there somebody on this team, as Johnson sends this one deep towards center, right center, coming in is Bandora for out number 2. Is there somebody on this team that you maybe don't enjoy catching as much just because, either they have really good breaking stuff that's a little bit harder, a little bit more of a challenge, or maybe your hand just hurts a little bit afterwards?
No, I wouldn't say any of the guys don't enjoy catching. I've always enjoyed catching, so I enjoy getting back there and be able to catch whoever it is. So it's always nice just to be able to catch those guys.
Absolutely. As in now is, oh, what a play there. Danny Nerai swung at the first pitch and lined it straight to Cam Bufford at shortstop. So, Grant, our time here is a little bit short. We'll come back with you in the bottom of this inning.
Yes,
but for now, it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Big Train in the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 DC, middle of the third inning. Bottom of the third here. And leading off will be Scott Bandora. Benavilla grounded out to end the second. So top of the order here. Thank you, Grant. So we're back with Grant Knipp here in the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth. Lefty Bandora struck out his first time up. Give us the scouting report on Eddington out there. We've seen the strikeout stuff so far, but obviously, as we talked about before, you're familiar with him. What to look out for here?
Right. Well, first off, he's got a great fastball, really live arm, and his slider, very good slider, very hard slider, moves a lot. And so those really right now are his two main pitches. He's been working on a changeup, but those, especially that slider, you got to watch out for that slider, especially as a lefty going towards that back foot.
Absolutely. I think we might have seen it there on the first pitch. 1-1 now from the righty Eddington as he goes into that windup. Now for you, obviously we talked about kind of the challenges as a catcher and pitcher relationship, but overall as a team, what's it like? I mean, you guys showed up here almost 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, had one day of batting practice, and you're basically straight into games. What's that challenge like for you and for the team overall? Is big swing and miss there.
Oh, I think it's not really that huge of a challenge, just because I feel like growing up playing summer ball, it's always been like that. It's always kind of like you show up and you just play. So getting to play with these guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I feel like all the guys like each other, so we all get along and have fun together and just play the game.
Lined up the left side of the infield there, just past the outstretched glove of Keith Torres, and in for a single for Bandora. So another leadoff batter aboard here for Patrick Vandenberg, the second baseman. Now, is there a guy that you know, maybe when they're taking batting practice or when they're up at bat and you're, either on the base or in the dugout that particularly catches your attention and you got to kind of stop and watch here as Vandenberg shows bunt and pulls it back to take ball one?
So I've always Kemp Alderman. So
yeah, that's the obvious answer.
Right. So we've played against each other, and the very first time I ever saw him play, I'm actually sitting back there catching, and the very first pitch to him.
As Nerai with a good throw. Ooh, close there.
So the very first pitch to him was actually we were playing in Arizona, and he had a ball that hit the top of the wall in dead center, and it was 410 dead center. So I was like, oh, this kid has some juice. And then when I found out I was playing with him here, and he showed up the first day and started hitting some tanks in BP, I was like, oh, this kid still has a lot of juice here.
He's really, you just got to stop and stare sometimes. I think that one down in Lorton, his first homer here, I think that one went about 400. It's tough to tell without the actual data, but
right.
You always got to estimate.
Right, that ball disappeared.
Yeah, it disappeared real quick.
Right.
On a play like that, short throw, pretty good throw. Looked like it was at least on line to get Bandora. Is it tough to tell if you actually got him? I mean, here there's no replay. It's always hard to actually tell. But what's that like for you behind the dish when you're trying to throw out a runner?
For us, we can really only tell if the throw beats him or not. So, I mean, it's hard. If the throw beats him, more than likely we think he's out, but the runner could get around the tag. Or if there's no tag, sometimes that happens as well.
Interesting. As this one put way high in the air and way out of play towards the off the Park Police barn back there. Now, for you, coming out of Louisville, I noticed you have a little bit of a shoe company up and running on Instagram.
I do.
Big sneakerhead?
I am, yes.
Do you have a particular favorite, one that is kind of a go-to for you?
Right now I'm really hooked on the Dunk Lows. So.
Okay. As it's a walk here to Vandenberg, so first and second. Double play back on with no outs for Peter Costigan here in the bottom of the third. You ever get jealous of the guys in the bullpen there, just getting to hang out a little bit?
Those guys are different, I'll tell you that. There's something else. I've got to go down there a few games when I get days off like this, and they are something different, that is for sure.
Last time we were here, Tyler really likes to tell this story, so since he's off headset right now, I'll do it for him. Last time we were here, Zach Locke was in the mound. Jesse was not warming up yet, but he had a laser pointer, and you could see pretty easily up from there.
Right.
And so he had it shining on us, and we were kind of chastising him a little bit here as Costigan shows bunt, squirts away from Nerai, but runners will hold it first and second. And then we look away, trying to check back on the game. We look back, and someone, I don't know who it was, had thrown a mitt at Jesse's nether regions, and he was down on the ground, hurting a little bit. So you can tell, I mean, from here it's probably the best angle we got, but you can always tell that there's some characters out there.
Right, that is for sure.
What about in the dugout? Any characters down there? We've heard some good things about Rocco.
Oh, Rocco, he's definitely a funny dude, definitely a funny guy to be around.
Heard he's not a guy to be crossed, though.
Oh, yeah, he's got a short temper, that's for sure.
As this one is chopped off the front of the batter's box there and foul again. 1-0 here, no outs, bottom of the third. DC potentially looking to move some runners forward, add a couple more. But Jake Eddington out of Alabama, teammate of Grant Knipp up here with us, looking to hold them right there. For you, when did you know that baseball was it? I mean, how early? As the runner goes down to third, Nerai will fire over to second in time to get the first out. Over to third goes Bandora. Vandenberg caught trying to steal on the double. I mean, first of all, before we get to that question, is that a tough decision? I mean, when there's a double steal, you're always trying to get the guy at second just because maybe a little bit more time?
Yes, it also just depends on, you got to see who your runners are. Like, So for instance, that guy, he's pretty quick. So the guy
Long
on
legs.
first. So we want to, on that play, you want to get and he got a great jump as well. So
Yeah.
the kid behind is kind of timing off the guy at second. So you kind of have more time to get the kid at second.
Okay. And so back to the other question as Eddington comes set again here. 1 out and a 3-2 count on Tarkenton, and he punches him out. 5th strikeout of the day. And Jay Tarkenton, for the second time tonight, goes down looking. As a catcher, well, I promise we'll get back to the original question in a bit. But we asked the pitchers, right, whether they like strikeouts looking or swinging better. As the catcher, do you have an opinion? And as a batter, is there one that's maybe a little bit more frustrating to you?
Catching, I would say I like, I'd say probably looking.
Is it looking because you
Catching.
know, like, you called the right pitch, you got him in the right spot?
Right. And then hitting, looking, I don't really like that one. It's like it's kind of like growing up, it was always, like my dad would always say, like, I'm okay with you striking out, just don't strike out looking.
Yeah. Peter Costigan, a chance to do either here as he works himself into an 0-2 hole here, with Eddington looking to hold that lone runner on base now. Bandura at third, 2 outs, no runs across in this inning. And he gets a fly ball to right. Alderman over towards the line, hustling over, but letting that one bounce off a support net pole and back down into play. He'll stay 0-2. What are you looking for here from Jake?
Yeah, 0-2, may go fastball up here, but it looks like we're going to go slider away. Yep.
Slider away, just a little bit low. So 1-2. I mean, that's something you'll take, right, when you have a little bit of ball to work with.
Right, with a lively arm like
Trying to get him a chase.
Fastball up is always a pitch that he can go to.
And there it is. Beautiful pitch in there on the 1-2 count. And it's back-to-back strikeouts looking for DC batters. They get one on base all the way to third, but can't bring him home. No runs in that inning. Grant, thanks for joining us up here. Thanks for the chat.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course. For now, we'll take a pause for a word from our sponsor at the Dandy Walker Alliance.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
train, Danny Nerai will be the first big train batter here in the top of the fourth to face Dylan Sieski on from the bullpen out of Lafayette, righty, to follow up the lefty Cooper Vest out of BYU. Vest's day on the mound is done after 2 very solid innings, no runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no walks allowed. We'll see if he continues on as the designated hitter.
Just a virtually flawless start tonight. What more could you ask for out of Cooper Vest? 3 innings of 1 hit ball, and we'll see if the big train have more success against the new pitcher.
Nerai worked a 3-1 count his last time at bat before grounding out to the second baseman to end that first inning. Takes it 2-1 here. Again, another thanks to Alabama catcher Grant Knipp for joining us up here in the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth up in right field as this one sails way high, and Nerai will take his base to start off the top of the fourth.
And that's something we didn't see with Cooper Vest. He didn't allow any walks, free passes in his outing. He was very much in control tonight, and that's exactly what you want to see out of a starter against a good team like the Big Train. DC Gray's coach Terry has just got to be happy about his start tonight.
We'll see how happy he is as this fourth inning unfolds. 3, 4, 5, Pepe and Alderman on deck as Rocco takes strike 1 there. Third baseman, certainly a character in the dugout, as we just heard from the man hustling down to the bullpen right now.
Yeah, we'll see who's up first for the Big Train.
Yeah, we'll see what Eddington's day looks like. Of course, went 5 innings. Was scheduled to start Monday versus versus South County, in the rain out. And so gets the start here tonight. From the stretch is Selski. And this one low for ball 1.
Selski bringing it here out of the mound. He's pumping some heat in there.
Comes set. Runner on first, and this one hit hard up the middle. Over to Vandenberg for 2. Over to Tarkenton, 6-4-3, buffered Vandenberg Tarkenton. And just like that, the leadoff walk to Nerai is erased by a wonderfully turned double play for DC.
And that short porch in the corner is just beckoning Kemp Alderman right now. 307 down the left field line, and probably not much further down straightaway right or left field. So if you're a Kemp Alderman, you're going to want a fastball to hit over the left field fence here.
Fastball or a hanging curve. Instead, this one bounces well in front of the plate, skips over the head of Benavia, the catcher.
And if he gets the hanging curve, I'd love to see how far he sends it.
Yeah. As Grant said, he can really turn on one and send them into the night. We'll see if he gets the chance here. He sends this one straight towards us, curling a little bit onto the concourse between fields 2 and 3 behind us at the Nationals Youth Baseball Academy here. So 1-1 on the big right fielder tonight out of Ole Miss. And he fouls again off the handle. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Alderman on the year. A fantastic short season, as we said, arrived a little late. But in 26 at-bats, he's done plenty of damage. 17 RBIs, 385 batting average, 10 hits, 8 runs scored, and 2 home runs as he takes another pitch in the brown turf for ball 2.
And almost a complete 180 from his Ole Miss numbers this year. He had a rough year at Ole Miss. I heard he was maybe pressing a little bit at the plate, leaning a little bit too much, having his hands held a bit high. More relaxed at this year and able to just crush some baseballs in this short stint here for the Big Train.
Here's the 2-2 to Alderman. Low, ball 3, count is full. You can definitely tell that he can get really relaxed with that piece of lumber in his hands.
And for him, he's the perfect 5-hole hitter. He's a perfect balance to Rocco Pepe, who's the cleanup guy, and the 3-hole hitter, Danny Nerai. You got just nowhere to pitch, as there's a walk there to Alderman, but the 3-4-5 in this order is just phenomenal.
Yeah, especially, I mean, there's a lot of options in that 3-4-5. Like you said, it's been pretty consistent with Pepe and Alderman 4 and 5, but we've seen Neride now up with another day off for Matt Thomas, the CRCBL Offensive Player of the Week last week with a huge stat line in those 7 days as Sean Ewell steps in after Alderman works the second base on balls from Dylan Seesky. A lot of options and a lot of ways that this heart of the big train order can kill you. It's the 6-hole hitter, Nolan Shawnuel, with the hands high as he takes ball 2 outside.
And low-scoring affairs have been the name of the game, at least early on here. And, you know, the first game against D.C. was a 6-4 win, close game, and right now just 1-0 as we head to the top of the 4th. Shawnuel looking to get Alderman in here.
2 outs on the double play as Seesky finds the strike zone again. 2-1 now on Alderman. Reached on a fielder's choice. Back in the second, was stranded. Looking to get on base again here. Alderman going. Throw down. Bounces to Bufford. And Alderman, sneaky speed now, has his 3rd stolen base of the year.
And I think that
He
might
got a
have been,
great jump.
but the slide was not very adequate there from Kemp Alderman. He kind of bowled over second base there. Got in there safely nonetheless, but it looked very painful from up here, especially on turf.
2-2 to Shawnuel. Popped way foul down the left side and into the bed of a Park Police pickup truck down there beyond the left field fence.
I don't really think a police pickup truck is necessary.
Well, Park Police, horses, they got to carry like hay bales.
True,
and stuff
but
like that.
they bought one at Robert Morris, and it was probably the dumbest purchase
Here's
I've
the
ever seen.
2-2 again. Chopped foul straight to whoever's on the front step of the big train dugout there.
They spent a ton of money to buy a police cruiser that's a pickup truck, and it just makes no sense for the area that it's in. An urban-ish campus, suburban campus, doesn't make any sense to have a pickup truck police car. These probably make a lot more sense, especially around park
2
areas.
straight foul balls, and Shawnuel again makes it 3 in a row as he fouls this one. And the count still at 2-2. Benavia, the Grambling catcher, having to do plenty of work back there. I think we started to say it in the very beginning of this game. I wonder if there's any relation to another D.C. area catcher, Mr. Alex Avila of the Washington Nationals, as Shawnuel takes this one inside to send the count full.
And this is just a perfect at-bat for Nolan Shawnuel. He's making Seisky work on the mound, and he's put together some foul balls, fouling off some tough pitches. He's almost throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him right now, hoping for a K.
3-2, 2 outs. Sean Alderman at second. Shawnuel grounds this one to Vandenberg at second, flips it over. No throwing error here to Tarkenton at first. It's a 4-3 end to this inning for the big train. They leave 1 aboard, no runs home, no errors for DC defensively, and no hits for the big train. 2 walks, though. Can't get either of them home. 1-0, middle 4 here on Big Train TV. Cam Buford to lead things off here for DC in the bottom of the fourth, and it's good friend of the show, Zach Locke out of Long Beach State out there in relief of Eddington after 3 pretty solid innings as Buford lines this one on the very first pitch he sees into shallow left field. Doyle will collect, and it's the first base runner against Zach Locke. The very first batter he faces. Locke on the year, 8 2/3 innings of work, 11 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, and a 3.12 ERA out of the stretch now. And this one grounded up the middle. Torres has it, flips over to Martin. Chance for 2 to Sean Uell. Way in time to get Sprague Lott. Beautifully turned double play. We've seen a couple of those there from both sides now.
Yeah, that's back-to-back innings, or 2 and a 6-4-3 sandwich there. Another double play. But Buford almost tried to take out Martin at second base. He put his arms up.
Yeah, I mean, Torres maybe not as smoothly fielded as you would expect from Torres, but still flipped over to Martin at second, way ahead of Buford sliding in, and they still got Sprague Lott by a solid 1.5 as Locke fires in a breaking ball to Sam Kaplan, who struck out swinging his last time up. Again, Locke was kind enough to join us here in the Dandy Walker broadcast booth, as this one is straight over to Sean Uell, who'd take it himself. And so I won't even have a chance to finish my point. The inning goes quickly for Zach Locke in his first inning of work. It's a double play and a 3U by Sam Kaplan. A roundabout 1-2-3 inning for the Big Train defensively. 1-0 DC. Top of the fifth coming up next. Trevor Doyle, the left fielder tonight, listed as the right fielder, but he and Alderman did a last-minute switcheroo from corner to corner. So out of Sacramento State, Doyle, the left fielder again, will lead off here in the top of the fifth. Singled, and again was left on base as he takes strike 1 from Dylan Sieski, out for his second inning of work.
Yeah, and a pretty solid line tonight for Jake Eddington. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. He is gunning for that strikeout crown this year. Been very high amounts of strikeouts coming from him this year.
Up to 17 on the year, I believe, with 6 tonight. Bedford, the current leader, as this one is chopped towards the DC dugout.
Helicopters are scanning overhead. I wonder who they're looking for. Maybe trying to find the Big Train offense.
Maybe trying to find the person who was trying to break into RFK earlier. I don't know about that. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I wouldn't either, because it definitely wasn't me.
Here's the 1-1 as Doyle sends this one off the very top of that Park Police barn, and it'll be 1-2.
It's going in circles. I don't know where it's.
Is that a news copter, maybe?
Potentially. Maybe they want to actually talk to me and see what I have to say about things.
Doyle again fouls this one foul down the left side.
Into the police trucks again.
And so 1-2, 1-5 if you count the foul balls. But that's not how math works in baseball. As Siski comes set, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Doyle, who again stays alive in protective mode with 2 strikes on him, fouling them all back left side of the screen, and we'll do it again.
And just late on that one. Well, actually not just late, but he was pretty late on that.
7 hits, 6 runs, a .318 batting average for Doyle so far this season. Waggles that bat high, steps into it, and again chops this one straight back to Christian Martin in the on-deck circle. Doyle, 5 RBIs. He's worked 6 walks. 1 double. No other extra base hits for number 27 in black. Black jerseys, black caps, gray road pants for DC as Doyle finally gets one into fair play. Chops this one straight back to Siski, the pitcher. Flips it over to Tarkington for out number 1. Not sure why a cash register sound effect played there. That should only be played for a strikeout,
right, that's
in
what I was
my
gonna say.
very personal opinion.
But you also
one out.
think striking out the side is just 3 strikeouts.
It's a roundabout way to do it.
You can't. You gotta come up with a new word, man.
That sounds like a lot of work. I'll stick with the one I got. And Christian Martin will be looking to get something here himself. 1 out. He pretty good contact into center field last time. Scott Bandora out there for DC in the all-white home uniforms, high navy socks.
I got words for you.
Made a pretty good play.
Circuitous or serpentine.
Strike 1 in on Martin.
Or traffic circle if you want to go that far.
Thesaurus Tyler. Siski set out of the stretch with no runners on. Martin swings through the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on the rising freshman second baseman.
Yeah, Doyle, the only hit thus far tonight for the big train.
Narrowly avoiding a no-hitter, but some work to do to get their offensive rhythm down against this DC pitching staff. Here's the 1-2. In there at the knees, strike 3 called, says Andrew Peltola, and Martin heads back to the dugout unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough call there. You never like to get rung up, but the big train offense has just been non-existent for these first couple of innings.
Slightly faltering out of the station so far tonight, but still plenty of baseball ahead of us here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Sun just starting to set drag bunt attempt from Keith Torres, the 9-hole hitter. With that big ball of gas settling out way beyond left center field. Beautiful sunset over the capital city on the cards, it seems. Eddington, Howitt, and Everett Catlett, I believe, getting some waters from the concession stands, heading back to the bullpen. As it's 0-1 here to Torres, who takes this one breaking ball outside for ball 1.
That would not be Everett Catlett, Ben. Don't worry, though.
Yeah, too short.
In the wise words of Howie Day, even the best fall down sometimes.
That's Kyle Robinson,
Newcomer,
one of our
yet to get
new
to a game
arrivals. Rising freshman at Texas Tech when the 2021-2022 college baseball season kicks off. Potentially available out of the bullpen tonight. He's only 6'5", I believe.
Yeah, just a
Everett
meager,
would be
a meager 6'5".
6'7". Tallest listed player on the team. Here's the 1-2 to Torres. Good take on the breaking ball inside.
And we've
2
been
balls
told
and
by
2
Grant
strikes.
Knipp to get Everett Catlett up here at some point. We'd love to talk to Everett and see.
We've heard he's a character. So here's the 2-2. Torres inside. Count goes full. On the 9-hole hitter, number 9. Out of Sacramento State. Engine, number 9. Torres trying to get this one down the line.
9-9. Brooklyn 9-9.
Seeski set out of the stretch. Here's the 3-2. Outside low. Keith Torres works a walk. And he has done that very well this year. 10th walk drawn of the season. That's good for second on the team.
And with the eye
Behind
that
who else but Matt Thomas. And add up a pretty plentiful on-base percentage for Torres. Now up a shade over 550.
And with the eye he shows at the plate, it's almost like having a second leadoff hitter in the 9 spot.
Wow, almost like that's by design. Speaking of the leadoff spot, here is the man that occupies the traditional one, number 2, Riley Johnson, out of ECU. Looking to get on base for the first time tonight.
You know, I'm just trying to provide some colorful analysis here, Ben, and you're out here dunking on me. I don't appreciate that.
Torres turns the order over with a walk. A check back on him from Seeski at first. Not as efficient for Seeski as our starting pitcher for DC tonight without that lefty move in the arsenal. First pitch to Johnson high for ball 1. Second pitch to Johnson high for ball 2. Pardon. Johnson waggles the bat and takes ball 3 inside. 3-0. So after Torres works the third walk from Dylan Seeski, Riley Johnson in an advantageous spot here. 3 balls and no strikes. Seeski set from the stretch. Runner off first. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and works a 4-pitch walk. So 2 on, 2 outs for Kyle Velasquez, the DH. What do you make of that, Tyler?
Good. Pretty good. I mean, regardless, though, a great at-bat for the leadoff hitter, Riley Johnson. That's why he's in the leadoff spot, to get on base and be a spark plug at the top of the order, and exactly what you want in that situation, and chance to get some runs in here with no hits, just 1 hit thus far.
And this one lined straight up the middle. There's the first hit. Velasquez will get his first RBI of this game. Heading to third, sliding in is Torres. Velasquez advances to second on the throw. It's an RBI single by the K-Man to tie this ball game up.
And I don't know if they call him that, Ben, but yeah, big run, like I said, big hit.
Tell that to the occasional batting card.
True.
Batting order card.
But I believe it's K-Dog.
K-Dog, same thing.
Not really. One is
regardless,
a
it's
human
a
and one is an animal.
1-1 game here in the top of the 5th. And 2 runners in scoring position. Still 2 outs here for Danny Nerai.
That ball was
4
charged.
walks, no hits before Kyle Velasquez charged that one, as you say, straight up the middle for the first big train run of this game.
Yeah, and he sent it back where the ball was pitched, which is the best piece of hitting you can technically have besides a home run.
Torres comes home to score. And now time called by Avila as he looks to head out to the mound and try to settle Dylan Seeski in.
Yeah, good job on Avila going out there to talk to him. It's been a rough inning for Seeski. I mean, he got the first 2 outs pretty quickly, and then all of a sudden things just started to cannonball on him.
And as we said, showed some command issues even in that 4th inning. Walked 2 batters. Nerai, the man he's facing now, to start off the 4th. Got Pepe to ground into a double play, then came back and walked Alderman again before getting Sean Ewell to end it. And now Nerai drives one up the left side, and that's going to get into the glove of Cam Buford, the shortstop, who flips it on, not in time, to Tarkenton. Nerai beats it out from the dish. Coming home from third is Johnson. And just like that, the big train lead, 2-1, with Velazquez 90 feet away. Fantastic.
Yeah. It is fantastic there, and a way to beat it out there for Danny Neary.
That's what I was going to say. Great job. And now giving this one a ride down the left field line is – that's a home run. Rocco Pepe, the first pitch he sees, it's a 3-run home run. Thought that one was going to bend foul. Instead, it goes right inside of the 307 marker on the left field line. And Rocco Pepe loves playing here in D.C. It's his second shot in 2 trips.
You know, I was going to say that, but I'll let you have it after the home run call kind of eluded you there. I mean, it was a high arcing shot.
Soft off the bat, and it just looped. We've been talking about it all night, the short left fence.
That was probably
Rocco
310.
Pepe takes advantage. A wall scraper. And the big train have a 5 spot with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th, and Alderman looks to answer not as hard as he sends it straight to Scott Bandora in center field. So the big train get 2 outs very quickly and come back to score 5 to take the lead. Emphasized by the Rocco Pepe 3-run home run. It's 5-1 train as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
Very interesting home run there, Ben. I'll take you back to it a little bit as we see a new batter here for the good old DC Grays out there. It's going to be 31. I believe it's a pinch hitter in the DH spot because Cooper Vest is now out of the game. But a wall scraper in every sense of the word, a 5 spot in that inning. And, I mean, you didn't think it was gone. I thought it was just a foul ball, but it just kept going into fair territory and just snuck under the foul pole.
Snuck under the foul pole into that tree just beyond 310 at the most as Evan Smith, the pinch hitter, sends one way high. And coming over, a little bit of a miscommunication there from Riley Johnson and Kemp Alderman. And I think Kemp ended up getting that one as he came a little under Johnson. And regardless, it's the first out of the inning. A little bit of miscommunication there in right center field.
Now, do we have a defensive switch in the outfield? Because wasn't Kemp in left to start the game?
I think he was listed as in left, but I think he started in right. That's what I was saying in last inning. Because that's what I had written down as well. That's what they've been announcing the whole time as Locke works this one inside for ball one. So 5-1 Big Train with a 5 spot in the top of this inning out of nowhere, as this one is headed straight towards us, but going to die right between the flagpoles over towards the bleachers behind the softball field, and quickly snagged up by a young fan in a Nats cap.
I feel bad for them.
And he's going to return the ball and get a trade-off one. I think they keep the balls in play and give him a batting practice ball.
That's just not fair. If you get the ball, it should be yours.
And nice bender in there, off speed from Zach Locke to work his way back ahead in this count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And
One
I just
out.
want to mention that journeyman reliever Mickey Janis, knuckleballer, has made his debut tonight.
For the Baltimore Orioles.
Correct.
And not quite a knuckleball there, as that one way low in on Ben Avila, the catcher out of Grambling. Righty. Bat tucked way behind his head. Brings it up a little bit as Locke comes set slowly. And a good off speed just at the knees of Avila, but called for ball 3. Count goes full. Locke set, hands at the chest. Now into that, holds the knee, fires right past Avila. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Zach Locke there.
Big strikeout for Locke, and he's getting the outs in pretty much every way possible here tonight. And exactly what you want to see out of your guy that's probably going to go 2 innings tonight. We'll see who's up for the next inning, as they've got a plethora of bullpen arms available.
Plethora of bullpen arms available indeed. And now some run support to put the Big Train again. Again, 5-1 here on a huge inning that just came out of nowhere. First 2 batters in the top of the 5th got out pretty quickly. And then a couple walks. First 3 hits against Siski, the pitcher. 2 singles.
He's no Siski Sabathia.
2 singles and a 3-run home run from Rocco Pepe, his 2nd of the year, 2nd in this very ballpark. As Locke gets set here for the 2-0, kicks and delivers. Good pitch just outside for ball 3.
And a let's go from the bullpen. I wonder who it was. And a let's go from the song that's on. Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones.
Lots of helicopter activity over the D.C. area tonight. Not Marine One, as far as I can tell, as this one is in there for a strike.
Yeah, I wonder what they're looking for. I wonder if they're newscopters or if they're chasing a suspect over there. Because it was circling around the facility
The first one we saw looked more like a newscopter. Those look like military more-ish.
And the newscopter.
Here's the 3-1. Breaking ball beautifully in there. Scott Bandora nearly discarded the bat instead. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2nd straight full count of this one. As Locke shakes off Nirai with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Comes set. Now into the windup for the payoff pitch. Fires. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts on full counts for Zach Locke to end this inning. 1, 2, 3. Grays go down in order. Can't answer the explosive offensive inning for the Big Train as they take a 5-1 lead. Looking to add more. On the top of the 6th here on Big Train TV. Hassan Akil, the new pitcher here in the top of the 6th for DC, wearing number 20, the lefty out of Lincoln. 5 appearances, 1 start, 6 innings flat of work. 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 6 walks. No strikeouts on the year, an 0-1 record, and a 3.00 ERA as he pumps ball 1 in to Nolan Shanuel out of Florida Atlantic.
This is a good name matchup here, Akil and Shanuel.
And Akil, he's got some heft to him. And an interesting windup. Got the high socks. Really throwback look as he goes to the rosin bag. Rubbing the ball off on his pant leg.
There is some
Now
activity
into
around this
a
field
long
right now.
windup and bouncing that one well in front of Avila in front of the plate, 3-0. Busy night here in Southeast DC. Ben Bobek and Tyler Gallo for Big Train TV up here in the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth. Busy night for Big Train. Now, after quiet start,
Taking all the way there.
Shanuel takes one 3-1.
We'll have to see what Akil does. Nice sunset over here. Got into those cotton candy skies over the Washington Nationals baseball. I just fumbled over that name, but over the youth academy here.
5-pitch walk for Nolan Shanuel. He becomes the first base runner on Akil. Bringing up Trevor Doyle now. Absolutely orange-flavored cotton candy out there. As Akil gets the sign. And now comes set here to face Doyle. Delivers this one outside and low for ball 1. So 6 pitches, 5 of them now have been balls. Not the start Hassan Akil, was looking for. Shanuel leads off first after drawing the walk. And Doyle takes ball 2. Shanuel ignoring Trevor Doyle, trying to advance on the wild pitch there and easily gunned down by Avila behind the dish. You're not that guy, says the dugout.
Yeah, a poor slide there from Nolan Shanuel paves way for that caught stealing on that one.
Had him by a step or 2. And Doyle takes this one outside, 3-0, and a chance for the Big Train to replace the runner they just lost.
Still waiting for Doyle to just get into one and absolutely demolish it.
Again, out of Sacramento State as he takes the 4-pitch walk there. Doyle on the year at Sac State. 11 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. 426 on-base percentage. He's got both of his career home runs in the past year. Rising senior out of Las Vegas. So he's got a little bit of pop if he can get one. And he leads off first now with Christian Martin coming to bat now.
I'd say that's a bit of pop there. 11 doubles and 2 home runs. And a couple of triples as well.
Martin can do it all. Shortstop, second base, outfielder. He's at second tonight. 5'10", 175, Amherst, Virginia native. As a lefty move to check on Trevor Doyle at first. Playing the floor is lava over there on the first base bag. The ball skirted beneath his foot. Four-year varsity starter at high school, first team all-district as he gives one a ride straight up in the air. Third baseman coming on and trying to dive in front of his own dugout. Lost that one in the lights perhaps. And sitting down, spread-eagled, and a little bit defeated there is Sprague Lott.
Yeah.
As that one bounced to the turf for the second strike of the inning.
Yeah, Sprague Lott just took a
1-1.
tough route to that one. Had to avoid a couple of guys heading over there as well. And Did not make the catch.
So 1-1, as just said, on Christian Martin, the second baseman. He takes this one high and outside, ball 2. And Tyler, you know, put yourself in the batter's head here. How hard is it to kind of come to bat against a guy who hasn't shown much command here, and put yourself in the mindset to swing as Martin takes ball 3 again, high and outside?
I think you got to be aware of that the potential to get hit on the mound as well, or in the batter's boxes. That one sailed a bit high for Akil. Hasn't had command tonight.
3-1 here to Martin, and he takes the third walk of this inning. Runners on first and second, and still just one out here for Keith Torres.
Yeah, 3 consecutive
walks. We'll get
walks.
a mound visit first. 3 consecutive walks. Again, no walks for the starter Cooper Vest in his 3 innings of work. But it's unfolded a little bit since then between Dylan Seesky, who stands as the loser after giving up the 5-run top of the 5th, between Seesky and now Hassan Akil. Plenty of free bases issued to big train batters. Seven total issued by those two DC pitchers. And ball 1 is inside to Torres, the righty.
Yeah, and he's no Dylan Cease out on the mound, White Sox pitcher, but Dylan Seesky.
Torres fouls this one back towards the softball field. It'll dive just before the right field fence first. 1-1. Hasn't gotten more than 2 strikes on, more than 1 strike, I should say. Hasn't gotten to 2 strikes on any batter yet this inning. Akil just looking to settle in here and find his stroke, as this one is behind Torres. Runners will advance 2 into scoring position now.
Yeah, no command whatsoever in this inning for Hassan Akil, and not what you want to see if you're Terry, Coach Terry, out there on in the dugout.
Some light throwing going on beyond the left field fence where the DC Grays bullpen is, as Akil will look to settle in here with a 2-1 count to Torres. Comes set, high kick, delivers in the dirt, bouncing around the legs of Keith Torres. 3-1. Like you said, almost unsettling to a point when you don't really know when the ball's going, and from where it's been over the last 4 batters now, pretty good chance it could end up off your leg. 3-1. Here comes the pitch. Inside, make it 4 straight walks, and the bases are loaded.
4 straight walks without a run. You don't see that too often. And, you know, if he walks,
yeah.
If he walks 5 in a row, you know, Doyle is practically home already, would be the 6th run of this game.
Batting order turns over, 1 out, and the bases juiced for Riley Johnson. Kyle Velazquez on deck. Danny Nerai in the hole. 5-1 big train and a chance to add, as another ball on the outside there.
Yeah, we'll see how big Doyle's lead gets. He can basically walk home. I mean, that's what all they've done this inning. They haven't had to take the bat off their shoulders. It's just been a rough one for Hassan Akil. There's got to be someone up in the bullpen now if you're Coach Terry. You don't want this to get out of hand.
2-0 to start off Johnson. As he kicks and delivers, Johnson swinging at that one and sends it foul.
He's got a very Jose Valverde wind up to him.
Yeah, it's not quite El Duque, but it's certainly got that kind of roundabout all the way back with the high kick.
I'd say it's a mixture of Orlando
outside.
Hernandez, who is El Duque, and Jose Valverde, who is that closer for the Diamondbacks, Tigers, Mets. He played a couple of places, but he was sort of a very like.
You know they can't see you.
Yeah, they
right?
can't see me, but if they could, it's sort of just like a.
3-1 outside, 5 walks in a row, and 1 more run comes home. 6-1 big train, here.
It's almost, I guess, it's almost like he's pushing the ball towards the plate.
Yeah. And, I mean, how do you think that sort of motion factors into the command issues we're seeing right now? As still no mound visit, another arm heading out to the DC dugout. Maybe looks like that's number 2 headed down there. Kyle Chmielewski, listed as an outfielder for Lafayette, but maybe will work as a bullpen catcher here as it's first called strike for Akil as this one fires in on Velazquez. Comes set again out of the windup. And look at that, back-to-back called strikes. Don't mean to be dismissive. Good to see that he's got his command going a little bit more there.
I think it's another inning potentially for Zach Locke.
Saw him walking around with, I think, a water bottle or something heading back to the dugout. As here's the 0-2, protecting his Velazquez as he fouls that one off the middle of the bat.
Yeah, a lot of activity in Southeast DC tonight.
A lot of activity on the base paths right now. As much traffic as we faced on the way down here. Here's the 0-2 to Velazquez with the bases loaded. And again, protecting, fouling that one straight back into the screen.
Some fireworks behind us, I hope.
See Jake Eddington walking back from the bullpen to the dugout. Decent start for him. And again, 0-2, again off speed. Velazquez protecting and just getting a little bit of a piece of that one as he puts that straight back behind the plate again. 3 straight foul balls on 0-2. Some organ music coming from the speakers. Sparse crowd here at the Nationals Youth Academy as Velazquez takes another 0-2, this one high for ball 1. Some work going on back in the cages under the All-Star Pavilion to the left of field 1 here. Here's the 1-2. This one grounded up the middle, and that's going to get past the third baseman all the way to Buford at short, and no chance, safe all around. It's an infield RBI single for Kyle Velazquez, and 7-1 Big Train. Second run across here in the top of the 6th. And Nerai with a chance to break this thing wide open.
He can do just that with one swing of the bat.
Quiet night for Nerai offensively so far, with an RBI single, a walk, and a ground out to second. 2 for 3 tonight. 2 for 2, or 1 for 2. Third time's a charm. Takes ball 1 into the windup. And Nerai lines this one into center field. That's going to get down. Coming around is Torres from home, cut off by the first baseman Tarkenton. Fires home, and it gets behind the catcher. And a punch out as the ball got past Avila. He was able to get it to Akil covering. So the second out, as trying to clear the bases there was Velazquez. He gets punched out at home after the relay throw skirted past Avila. Avila got it behind the backstop, flipped it back to Akil, the pitcher at home plate, who put the tag on Velazquez, trying to score the third run on the now 2 RBI single from Nerai, who advances to second on the throw. And Rocco Pepe fouls back the first pitch he sees straight over the backstop to the softball field as it's 9-1. Big Train now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
And Ben, I think we chose the wrong Orioles-Astros game to go to, because right now it is 8-0 Houston.
Much rather be here on a brisk Wednesday night here in southeast D.C. Wind has settled in, and a beautiful sunset unfolding beyond left field. Big Train have come up big offensively in the past 2 innings. 5 in the 5th, 4 so far in the 6th.
Runs
and
in
it's
bunches.
an 8-run lead for Bethesda. Pepe, he broke this one open with a sneaky home run to left in his last at-bat, and a chance for another here. And gets a pitch to hit there, but fouls the off-speed from Akil back in the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the third baseman out of Long Beach State. Settles back in. Knees slightly bent in that batting stance. Hands extended. Waving slightly above his head, tapping that front foot. 2-2, driven to left field. That one is way gone. No doubt about that one. It's 3 home runs for Rocco Pepe, 2 tonight in this ballpark, and it's an 11-1 Big Train lead.
Rocco Pepe absolutely loves the nation's capital. You know, he came here and he's got 3 home runs here, 2 tonight, and back-to-back at-bats, back-to-back innings. Rocco Pepe has gone yard, and he never wants to leave D.C.
5 RBIs for number 1 on the night, and he blasted that 2-2 pitch way out of here on the big fly. Absolutely uncorked on that baseball, and that one got deleted. And speaking of deleted, Kemp Alderman, bases clear for him now with 2 outs here in the 6th. 5 in the 5th, 6 in the 6th. And Alderman takes ball 2 inside.
He got all the way to 2 outs, and unfortunately Hassan Akil has had a less than adequate performance on the mound in this inning.
Both of the outs came on the base paths. Sean Ewell caught stealing as the leadoff hitter. He stands on deck now. It was 5 straight walks to start it off. The Nirai had the RBI as Kemp tries to turn on this one, and that's going to be caught in left field by Costigan, coming on with the diving play. And a fly out for Alderman will finally end the top of the 6th inning, but not before 6 more runs come home.
And you got to point out that Kemp Alderman's been robbed in consecutive plate appearances of base hits. 2 beautiful sliding plays, and you could hang an exclamation point on that one because that was a great catch by Costigan.
It's a tough F7 for Kemp Alderman and a tough 6 on the board for DC. 11-1 Big Train, middle of the 6th, as we pause here on Big Train TV. Beautiful moon peeking out through the sunset here at the Washington Nationals Youth Academy. And some beautiful baseball on the cards so far for one team more than the other, as we have a Big Train pitching debut. It's the rising freshman at Georgetown University, rising sophomore, at Georgetown University, Everett Catlett, the long lefty wearing number 24, making his first appearance of the night, and quickly ahead here, 1-2, with a swinging strike on that one.
And we've been waiting to see him in action this year. You know, the long lefty is correct. 6'7" he stands and knows Povich Field better than anyone, but doesn't make his debut at Povich Field, unfortunately. But he's in tonight for the first time after dealing with I believe it was a shoulder injury for the first couple weeks of the season, but he comes in now and gets in some action finally.
Colgan High School product, Manassas, Virginia native. We'll celebrate his birthday mid-July, about a month from now. 6 foot going into his freshman year. That's a heck of a growth spurt as he gets a swing and miss there from Patrick Vandenberg for the first strikeout of his Big Train career.
Blew him away. Vandenberg had nothing to say about that one, and a big strikeout.
So I believe we have a pinch hitter here for DC. Defensive substitution replacing Tarkenton at first base. Not exactly sure who's in, but whoever it is takes the first pitch as a strike. From Catlett. Vince DeLeonardo out of Elon stepping in. Righty to face the lefty Catlett. 2-seam, 4-seam slider and a changeup makes up the arsenal for Everett Catlett as he fires this one under the feet of DeLeonardo. Vince DeLeonardo, again out of Elon. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And plenty of run support for the Big Train bullpen as Catlett evens the count with a strike poured in there.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Coach Sal Colangelo's daughter for winning the Virginia State High School Soccer Championship.
As this one is fouled back by DeLeonardo, will stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. And speaking of shout outs, how about one for very good friend of the show, Mr. Len Pepe, and his son celebrating with a couple of big flies and 5 RBIs on the night. Happy birthday, Len, and congratulations to Rocco on a fantastic night so far.
Yes, and the South County Stallions have won the girls soccer state championship in Virginia.
Congratulations to the Colangelo family as well. As it's 3-2 now on DeLeonardo. Catlett kicks, delivers, swing, and a miss. He struck him out. DeLeonardo thought that one was in the dirt, but no need for Danny Nerai to fire on down as it's back-to-back swinging Ks for Everett Catlett to start this one off.
Yeah, and huge strikeouts. And how's that for a debut tonight? And also 3 strikeouts out of the first base, or the 3-hole tonight for DC, and not what you want to see if you're Coach Terry.
Combined sombrero going on so far. And this one a little inside to start off Peter Costigan, who made that great play in left to rob Kemp Alderman of a base hit.
Been a pair of robbed base hits for Kemp Alderman tonight.
Certainly making plentiful contact as this one is chopped straight to the third base coach. I think that's one of the Terrys, not sure which. So 1-1 on Costigan. Catlett set, front foot a little bit forward, now kicks and delivers, and a big swing and a miss there from Costigan on the heater from Everett Catlett, who has the stuff working so far.
Yeah, Catlett bringing it in his debut of the season.
16 2/3 innings pitched this year at Georgetown, 9 strikeouts, 8 walks. And already a third of the way to that strikeout total as he strikes out the side here in the bottom of the 6th. 3 swinging strikeouts, and it's a fantastic debut so far for Everett Catlett. And a big lead for the Big Train heading to the top of the 7th as we take a second for our friends at the Dandy Walker Alliance.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
First pitch into another pinch hitter. This time the first for the Big Train. And what do you know? It's Grant Knipp. Busy night for him so far as he takes the second pitch he sees and drops it into left field for a base hit. That bounces off the wall. Costigan will collect. Fire into second. Knipp charging hard. And he's got a pinch hit stand-up double. So maybe his trip up here to the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth, a little bit of a good luck charm for him.
There's been nothing but good appearances since they've come up to the Dandy Walker.
Zach Locke, too.
And, I mean, yeah, you can say Jesse Barron had a few struggles after that, but Zach Locke pitched really well in his first appearance after that. And Grant Knipp, big double. Call him Tony Two Bags.
That doesn't really work, but
I know.
okay. Hassan Akil back out there for his second inning of work. Rough frame for him last time, but Reggie Terry looking to protect the bullpen arms a little bit here in a runaway game as Doyle lines this one straight to DeLeonardo at first, who'll take it himself. So it appears Grant Knipp would be out, as Doyle's ground out to the first baseman is the second out of the inning. In all honesty, I have no idea what happened. Maybe that he came off the bag while standing at second. No idea. Anyways, it's 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, and this one runs well inside on Christian Martin.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that one, Ben. I have no clue what happened.
We don't even... Yeah, I got nothing. Martin goes, fired down to second. Throw beats him, but Vandenberg on the cover was way off the line. We'll try to get some answers at least between the innings. For right now, all we know is there's 2 outs. Martin on second after getting hit by a pitch and advancing on the stolen base. For Keith Torres, the 9-hole hitter.
We'll see if, one swing of the bat could.
Torres has walked and scored in consecutive innings.
One
Takes
swing
a
of the
strike
bat
in
could
there.
lead them to the witching run, Ben.
Two one misses for ball 3, and Keith Torres is 1 pitch away from his 3rd consecutive walk. 5 straight walks last time through this part of the order as Torres fouls that one a little behind it. Sean Uell, Doyle, Martin, Torres, and Riley Johnson. Then back-to-back singles for Velazquez and Nerai. And then the 2-run home run by Rocco Pepe to clean things up. Again, his 2nd of the night. And that's how you get a 6-run 6th inning, as it's indeed the 3rd consecutive walk. Keith Torres
that's a way to
put
get your
runners on
OBP
first
up.
and second.
Big way to get your OBP up. 0 for 1 with 3 walks.
Absolutely. Grounded out to third to start the game. And now going over to third is Christian Martin. Runners on the corners, no throw. Ben Avila behind the plate didn't even look at Martin as he advanced.
Yeah, Martin showing his speed in this inning, stealing second and then stealing third.
And under this one is Riley Johnson. Pop up straight to the third baseman, and that will end the inning. So a little bit of confusion on the big train. Leave 2 aboard. They can't add to this 10-run lead. Time to stretch at the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball Academy. It's an 11-1 lead for Bethesda, middle of the 7th.
I'm good.
So we do have some clarification from the horse's mouth himself, as we also have a new pitcher here for the big train in the bottom of the 7th. Grant Knipp was told by first base umpire Andy Simons, as he rounded first base, that he did not actually touch the first base bag. So it would have been a leadoff double to start that inning for Nip. They said he missed the first base bag, as this is a broken bat. Chopper to Martin at second. Over to Kemp Alderman, who switches over to first.
And it looks like Brady Gump's in right.
And Brady Gump, a defensive substitution. Great call there, Tyler. And it's a pretty quick one pitch out for Josh Gross, the new pitcher in relief of Everett Catlett. A stellar bottom of the sixth for Mr. Catlett. And it's another long righty this time out of East Carolina, rising sophomore, 6'4", 197. We'll celebrate his birthday just after Labor Day, September the 5th. Washington Nationals fan.
We'll be back home tomorrow night, correct? Big Train TV.
Yep, Big Train TV back to Povich Field, as this one is a long fly ball to center field. Johnson going back at the wall, reaching up, and he makes the catch against the wall.
Oh, my goodness.
Riley Johnson with a web gem there to snag the second out of the inning.
Phenomenal catch there by Riley Johnson, and you can 100% hang an exclamation point next to that one on your scorecards. Riley Johnson back to the wall, shades of Mike Trout or Kevin Kiermaier in center field, making a big leaping catch against the wall, and those are some of my favorite plays in baseball.
Didn't quite have the distance to clear that straightaway center field wall, and Johnson reached up just below the yellow in-play marker at the 369 in dead center, and a fantastic grab for him. We've seen him flash the leather a couple times in the short time he's been with the Big Train, as Gross fires in ball two.
He's a welcome addition to this team. Has been since he got here, and that catch just shows why.
And this one, high fly ball, little less work for Johnson here, as he'll run under this one and make the grab. Josh Gross answers Everett Catlett's call with a different way for a 1-2-3 inning, but it's 6 DC batters sent down in succession for the Big Train pitching staff. 11-1, top of the eighth, coming up next on Kyle Velazquez will lead off the top of the eighth. And back out there for his third inning of work is Hassan Akil, who's really settled in after a pretty rough first inning of work for him.
Yeah, and I believe Robbie Wacker's taken over at some space in the infield. I don't know what position it was. I believe it's third.
Gets a swing and a miss there. And it's 1-1 on Velazquez. As we said, a couple defensive substitutions for the Big Train. Doyle over to left, and Brady Gump in right. Sean Ewell is replaced by Alderman at first. And I guess Nip is the designated hitter, perhaps, or maybe Nip was just a one-off.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what
maybe
happened.
Nip just hit, and now Gump was
It
substituted.
was a double switch. It was a double switch because he hit for Sean Newell as the first baseman. Alderman moves to first base, and then coming in place of Sean Newell is the right fielder Gump.
And there's a swinging strikeout for Kyle Velazquez. Just the second or third strikeout on the night for the DC pitching staff. First swinging, actually. First, of course, for Hassan Akil, who now has one out here in the top of the eighth. For Danny Nerai, taps the first pitch he sees straight to Sam Bender, the first base coach.
They're having a prayer circle out there in the bullpen.
More like a game of hot potato. And it looks like Everett Catlett is the loser, as this one is lined straight to the third baseman. Listed as Sprague Lott, but that might be a substitution.
I believe that's Robbie Wacker. At
Robbie
third base.
Wacker.
No, that's still Sprague Lott, number 11. So I
Okay,
think Wacker in at second base in place of Vandenberg.
Two very quick outs here for DC defensively. And Rocco Pepe looking to avoid a 1-2-3 inning and looking for his third straight home run there. That was a healthy hack by Rocco.
I think he wants it. Safe to say.
Safe to say, yeah? You think?
Yeah, I think if he gets one here, he's going to send it to the exact same spot.
I think if he gets one here, he might just have to trade himself. He's looking for it.
He wants the third.
Two huge cuts to start this at bat off.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if he gets the third home run, he might just have to trade himself to DC and play most of his games.
Yeah,
in
he
this
does not
ballpark.
want to leave, especially because they're not coming back until July 10th.
Here's the 0-2 from Akil. And this one, not quite
Well, I mean,
material for Pepe to hack
although
at. Bounced out a little to his left.
the bounce
Just
hit
a bit
has
low.
we've seen before. Vlad Guerrero did it way back. I think Tony Gwynn did it once. Tony Gwynn could hit anything.
1-2. Akil hands out in front of his body, now into his windup, and low again to Pepe. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And if you're Rocco Pepe, you just want a hanging fastball or hanging curveball or a fastball right down the pipe. And that way you can send one into the DC night.
2 for 4 tonight. 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. Healthy night at the dish for Rocco Pepe as he gets a hold of this one but turns on it. Foul, a little early down the left field line and all the way out to Costigan in left field. We'll have to send that back towards the dugout. So it'll stay 2-2, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. No mercy rule tonight for the big train. 11-1. And Pepe gets under a curveball here, way up into the night sky. Under it is Buford, the shortstop, and Rocco Pepe retired for the first time in a couple tries. A 1-2-3 inning for the big train offense here in the top of the 8th, and their defense will come out looking to do exactly what they've done the last 3 half innings. 9 straight DC batters looking for 10, 11, and 12 when we come back. Middle 8 here on Big Train. Evan Smith came on as a pinch hitter, stays on as a designated hitter. And he's the first man to face Josh Gross, staying out there for his second inning of work here in the bottom of the 8th. With a 10-run lead as he gets a pop-up over the screen behind the DC dugout to the left side.
Speaking of DC, what happened in Philadelphia tonight, Ben?
What happened in Philadelphia tonight? That would be a very interesting question. Bad things happen in Philadelphia, I've been told. And if you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan, the last two nights, wow, last night and this afternoon, certainly a rough time. 2 big wins for the Washington Nationals and a big strikeout there for Josh Gross to start off the bottom of the 8th as he fires one past Evan Smith for his first strikeout of the night.
Yeah, and Josh Gross coming in and pitching pretty well.
Make it 10 straight. Actually, 12 straight DC batters retired.
Who've gone down softly.
1, 2, 3 innings in the 6th, or in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and 2 straight outs in the bottom of the 4th. Big Train bullpen has been mowing through this DC batting order, and Gross looking to keep it up as he works an 0-2 count on Ben Avila, the catcher and the 9-hole hitter. Works this one a little too far inside, 1-2, quickly back into the windup. And protecting there, a little in front of that one, but staying alive. Here is Avila, stays 1-2. Bounces in the dirt to even the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No activity in either bullpen for now. We'll see what DC does pitching-wise for the top of the 9th. Hassan Akil has really settled in the last 2 innings since allowing the 6th spot in the 6th. As the count goes full. Now flipped over by Alderman to Gross covering, and Ben Avila is retired on a ground out to the first baseman on the full count. And it's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th for Josh Gross.
Yeah, and it's been a very solid relief effort for anyone that's come into the game tonight. The only run, of course, is on the line of the starter, Jake Eddington, who, it was a tough run to take. I mean, it was into no man's land, but tonight it's been a very good bullpen game.
Pinch hitter in the leadoff spot, Kenny Bell, stepping in for Scott Bandora, the center fielder whose night appears to be done. Swinging at that one, 1 ball and 1 strike now. Gross, hands high, now drops him, starts the windup, and gets another big cut there from Kenny Bell. 1-2. Here's the 1-2, swung on and missed. Tipped back into the mitt of Nerai, pardon me. Regardless, it's another 1-2-3 inning, this time with 2 strikeouts sprinkled in for Josh Gross as the Big Train bullpen continues to work through this DC batting order like a hot knife through butter. 11-1. 9th inning coming up next after this word from the Dandy Walker line.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Kemp Alderman to lead things off here in the top of the 9th. Hassan Akil back out there for another inning of work as Alderman sends this one way up into the night. Under it is the right fielder, and he'll collect that one. Scott Kaplan out there in right field, pardon me. Sam Kaplan, rather. And it's a loud first out for Kemp Alderman, who's made some pretty good pieces of contact, but not able to get anything to drop so far tonight. Did work the one walk, and so it will be Brady Gump, I believe, at the dish now. His first at bat, like we said, a pinch hitter with Grant Knipp in this spot last time up. And Gump, defensive substitution, gets his first crack at the bat now. Takes this one in there from Akil, who again has settled in very nicely for DC pitching-wise. Gump gives this one a ride to left field. That one is back. At the wall is Costigan. He watches it go. A solo shot for Brady Gump. It's 12-1 Big Train.
And I believe that's the first home run of the year for Brady Gump, if I'm not mistaken. And a valiant effort from Costigan in left field, but there was no chance he was keeping that ball in the yard. And Brady Gump, big swing at the bat.
And a big fly for Brady Gump as that ball just kept on running. And the Big Train extending the lead loudly here in the top of the 9th. Now Trevor Doyle takes strike one on a breaking ball in there.
And, I mean, not a pinch hit at bat, but sort of, I guess, a pinch hit at bat. A replacement at bat, home run.
Just Gump's second extra base hit of the year. He had that triple down at Silver Spring, Tacoma. And this one bends in there below the knees of Doyle. Ball one.
Tough one for Akil tonight. You know, he came in and he's had to wear these last couple of innings. And exactly probably what Coach Terry wanted. Oh! Oh, no. And he gets up and is none worse for the wear, but that's painful. Trevor Doyle took one off the head. And looks to be all right, but square off the helmet.
Yeah, square off the dome there. Popped right back up pretty quickly. Getting checked on by Dr. Christy Voigt. Caitlin Condon, her assistant intern. They seem satisfied with the condition of Mr. Doyle. That's why they wear him, right?
That was that was very loud and it sounded very painful. And with the despite this relatively settling in tonight, Hassan Akil has been wild as a March hare. I mean, it's just been like that one goes over the head.
Inside on a Big Train batter over the head of Christian Martin, who was able to duck out of the way.
Yeah. That's painful.
1-0 to Martin coming. Runner on first. And Martin way out in front of that one. Even the count. One ball, one strike. This one outside for ball two. Martin on the day. 0 for 2. Strikeout. Tough fly out on a great play by Bandora out in center. A walk and a run. And then a hit by pitch in the 7th. Now looking for potentially his first base knock of the day. He works a 3-1 count here from Akil.
Yeah, and
here it comes.
They're playing
in there. Send the count full.
Take a look at the Big Train bullpen. They're either playing Suey or Hot Potato out there in the bullpen. As you can see, guys are having a time out there, time of their lives. As this
creative ways to stay warm. 1 out, 3-2. payoff pitch sent foul straight over the bleachers behind home plate. And we'll do it all again. Don't know if that's somebody clapping or somebody banging on something. Trying to get the rhythm started here. 3-2 coming. And Martin sends this one high in the air towards Sprague-Lott at third. But over behind the batting practice cage. And we'll do it all again for a third time. Twelve to 1, Big Train. One out here in the top of the ninth. Just looking to move things along is Martin again under this one. Sprague-Lott doesn't have a play. He's straight to the same spot as the last one.
See, now I have a question. RE ground rules. If someone climbs over that fence, leaps over it, goes out and makes the catch, does it count?
I don't think so.
Well, now what if if they catch it and fall over, it does, but.
I don't know. I would assume no. I'll put it like that. Set from the stretch. Here comes the 3-2. Martin lines this one straight to Kenny Bell in center field. Good contact on that one, but straight to the center fielder there. And it's the second out for the Big Train here in the top of the ninth.
Yeah, and we'll see if Keith Torres can do something that's not been done very often in history in Major League Baseball, and that's walking draw 4 walks in a game.
0 for 1, 3 walks, 2 runs scored, and an on-base percentage that is skyrocketing. And this one works way behind him. Over to second is Doyle. A runner in scoring position now for Keith Torres. 316 hitter, 12 runs scored coming into today. 6 hits, 2 doubles, and 5 RBIs. A 2 RBI double for him to set things up, continue that big first inning for the Big Train last Sunday against Silver Spring Tacoma.
So the Major League record for walks in a game.
And he laces this one towards center. That's going to get down into the left center gap. Doyle will score easily. That one bouncing around in the corner. It's a very easy stand-up double. And another RBI for Keith Torres. It's 13-1 Big Train.
And I was going to say the Major League record for walks in a game is 5. It was set by a couple times. Ryan Howard did it, and Mets legend Mike Baxter did it as well.
Well,
if you want to know who Mike Baxter is, he's the guy that made that amazing catch to preserve Johan Santana's no-hitter as he crashed in the wall and injured himself. You know, his career was never the same after that, but drew 5 walks in a game once.
I will say,
Torres can't touch that tonight.
I'm sure Torres is much happier to have that RBI double.
Absolutely, and now if this were the 7th inning, it'd be the witching run, but they're just up 12.
3 outs to go defensively regardless. A 13-1 lead as the Big Train looking to roll to their 12th win of the season.
And we'll see if game, set, match enters in the 9th. The Red Baron. No one up right now. Jesse Barron was up earlier. But we'll see if the Red Baron comes in. And
looks like the inning for now may just be Josh Gross's, who's been stellar so far, along with the rest of this Big Train bullpen. And Jake Eddington as well, the starter, not on track for the win. I believe that would go to Zach Locke. This one over the head of the leadoff hitter, Riley Johnson, up at the plate for the 6th time tonight.
I'd love to know how many pitches Hassan Akil has thrown tonight. Probably upwards of 50 at least now, with the amount of walks that he had.
I believe I can actually tell you that according to the live score we get as well. As it's a 4-pitch walk for Riley Johnson. Not quite Keith Torres range yet, but he's actually, yes, it is Keith Torres range, as he's worked 3 walks as well now. He's scored on 2 of them. Riley Johnson heftily improving his on-base percentage as well with a 2-out walk here in the 9th. Runners on first and second.
And now Akil just has nothing. I mean, he's as in the wise words of Al Gallo, he's got rag arm right now. Not hitting his
40. I believe. I'm not sure if this is correct. It says 40 strikes and 48 balls, but that sounds like a lot.
I don't think he would have thrown 88 pitches in relief.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's a bit.
So that one skirts away from Avila behind the dish. Runners will advance 2 in scoring position with 2 outs here.
But it could be.
Torres on third. Riley Johnson on second now. It certainly could be.
He's been in for 4 innings now, so. But that's a lot of pitches to throw.
Came into tonight with a 3.0 ERA in 6 innings of work. It's a 19.62 ERA in 3 2/3 so far tonight. I think that pitch count's correct.
Yeah, he has been in for 4 innings, and he's walked a bunch of guys, so it does seem like. But that's a lot of pitches. He might reach 100 in relief. I don't think that's happened since ever.
And this one inside. Ball 3 on
We'll have to talk
Kyle
to our buddies
Velasquez.
at the Elias Sports Bureau. Elias.
I don't know if they're going to take our calls. We can try. Akil comes set for the 3-1 to Kyle Velasquez. And it's another walk.
So
Bases are loaded.
It has happened several times before. I don't know what the most recent one is. Liam Hendricks did throw it in 2015 with Toronto, but a couple of guys to throw 100 pitches in relief, I'll tell you.
Well,
all 3 of these games.
I think you can cut it off because it looks to be the end of the line for Hassan Akil.
I can still bring it up, though.
Reggie Terry. Okay, but first, let's just tell our viewers that it would seem to be the end of the line here with Reggie Terry out to the mound and a new pitcher trotting in from the center field bullpen. And now, Tyler, tell us who Akil would have joined if he wasn't leaving the mound here with 92 pitches off his arm.
Yeah, so it hasn't happened too much in history. I'll go down all the pitchers in just a second, but the last 3 have actually involved the New York Mets. According to this spreadsheet that I have here, Sean Markham threw 105 in relief, and I think that was a 20-inning game on June 8, 2013. Jason Vargas in the second half of a doubleheader in a 17-3 loss threw 101 for the Florida Marlins against the New York Mets. And then Ryan Madsen against the Mets in a 9-8 loss
I know Ryan
threw
Madsen.
105 in relief of that game. But others to do it, other notable pitchers to do it, Tom Flash Gordon, Chris Carpenter, Johan Santana.
In relief?
Yep, and Randy Johnson. Well, because if you think about it, Johan Santana early in his career came out of the bullpen as a reliever, but it was a 14-0 loss.
Just eating innings.
Yeah, and Randy Johnson did it.
Interesting group of names there.
And according to this, Turk Farrell threw 151 pitches in relief.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. 3 and 2/3 innings and 92 pitches for Mr. Hassan Akil. Just wearing it in every sense of the word tonight. Never as much as Mike Oquist did back in 1998, though. Let me tell you about that.
Kyle Chmielewski out of Lafayette, listed as an outfielder, wearing number 2. The righty comes on looking for the third and final out for the big train offensively here in the top of the 9th. And he'll come in having to do some work with the bases loaded to face Danny Nerai. Almost said Neri, simply because that's what the PA announcer's been saying all night, and that pronunciation has somehow managed to worm its way into my brain, despite quite knowing the opposite. 500 average for Danny Nerai tonight, but that is underselling his season average, as he's 6 for 10 so far with the big train. 1 home run, 4 RBIs. One of those coming tonight. 2 of those coming tonight, actually. 3 of those coming tonight. Third time's a charm. Count them up. 1, 2, 3. Not 1, not 2, not 3. Ribeye steaks consumed. for Danny Neerai, just shy of the 5, leading the charge for Rocco Pepe, who's on deck now. And so Neerai will settle in to face Chmielowski. And the first pitch high and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, Chmielowski in here tonight just trying to get this final out of the game for the pitching staff. And, down 13-1. Don't expect a 13-run walk-off home run for the DC Grays. It might be in the cards, but I don't think it is tonight.
A little bit more run protection heading into the bottom of the 9th than Jesse Barron had last time, as it's a very loud broken bat rip. And did he catch that?
He did.
Did that not? Oh, the bat hit the pole. I thought the ball hit the pole. It's a rope straight back to Vandenberg at second base. And 2 pitches. And Chmielowski gets the out he needed. 13-1 Big Train. Bottom of the 9th upcoming here on Big Train.
Ladies and gentlemen, watch out for the skies because the Red Baron has officially entered the game. Jesse Barron on the mound, and this game is officially over. He's not quite Eric Gagne, though. 84 consecutive saves.
Barron with that 3/4 delivery comes set front foot, short hop, and immediately gets a pop-up straight to us. Here it comes, a little short, and over to the concourse, but that's up for it. Who's going to get it? Oh, Tyler has discarded his headset. It's a one-man show now, and congratulations. Mr. Tyler Gallo gets the baseball. Well earned, buddy. Don't leave me hanging.
I had to bully a little kid for that one, that being our producer, Aaron Adams.
Deserved it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Free baseball for Tyler Gallo. He comes home happy.
First time we've had one up on the concourse.
And a one-hopper back down to the concourse. Terrible throw, Tyler.
Yeah,
Simply put.
Well, that's why I'm up here and they're down there.
And while we were distracted, Jesse Barron does what he does best, and it's a strikeout swinging to start off the bottom of the 9th. For Patrick Vandenberg.
That is 2 consecutive strikeouts. It's actually Robbie Wacker.
Robbie Wacker. Thank you. Vince DiLeonardo, defensive sub at first base. Looking to fight things off here for DC offensively. 2 outs away from going down very quietly. As Barron comes set. And now fires in there at just above the knee with a beautiful pitch there for strike 2, 0-2. Barron has talked to us especially about his psychotic ability on the mound as he tries to lock in. This time gets a rope straight to Martin, trips, able to collect it, flip it over to Kemp Alderman at first. Excellent job to stay with that one by Martin. Kind of lost the legs out from underneath him, but still plenty of time to retire D. Leonardo. And the big train are 1 out away from a long ride to Victory Station.
Yeah, officially almost retiring 15 in a row. This bullpen is at 14 now, and one more out. Or 16, excuse me.
And a swing and a miss for Peter Costigan to start things off against Barron. Here's the 0-1. Ooh, good breaking ball there from Jesse Barron. Just missed for ball 1.
Very close there to getting it out, or getting a call there, but unfortunately he did not.
Swung on and missed. And Jesse Barron is 1 strike away. 2 outs, a 13-1 lead for the big train here in the bottom of the 9th. Gets the signs from Nerai. Steps in, comes set, fires, swing, over, and a miss. He struck him out. 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the 9th for Jesse Barron. And the big train slams the door shut in style. 17 straight DC batters retired. And the train chugs along. 12 wins now on the season for Bethesda, and they do it in style here in DC.
Yeah, just 4 hits allowed all game long, and just that 1 run on a very cheap base hit by the pitcher, Cooper Vest, all the way back in the 2nd inning. But a bunch of zeros out there on the scoreboard as the big train once again get a 12-run victory. But that's their 4th or 5th of the season, and they just keep on rolling through Victory Station.
Absolutely. A dominant night offensively, led by Rocco Pepe and Danny Nerai in the middle of the order. And the bullpen did what they do best and shut down the opposing batters in dominant fashion, as we said. 13-1, the final score presented by Bethesda Magazine. We'll be right back in a second for Big Train postgame here following this one from the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball Academy in Southeast DC.
Here at the Washington Nationals Youth Baseball Academy, the Bethesda Big Train rolled over the DC Grays by a score of 13-1 on the strength of a pair of round trippers by Rocco Pepe tonight. Big Train got 2 big innings of run scoring, 11 runs out of those final two, or the 5th and the 6th inning, and they really just took it to Hassan Akil on the mound tonight. Ben, what did you take away from tonight's game?
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start offensively, but again, as we've talked about with this Big Train team so often, once the floodgates open, once things get rolling, the train just chugs along the tracks, and they did so, like you said, 11 runs in the middle innings, the 5th and the 6th. Once they got to the DC bullpen, once they chased Cooper Vest, the DC starter, you knew that it was coming. A little bit of command issues for those 2 guys in relief. And I do want to – I talked about it a little bit towards the end of the broadcast, but an especially fantastic performance by the Big Train bullpen to really close the door down the stretch.
Perhaps the best Big Train performance, combined performance out of the bullpen tonight. You saw Josh Gross, you saw Everett Catlett, you saw a couple other guys come in tonight and really just put in work and get out of this game unscathed. After that second inning, no runs came across the score. Eddington allowed the only run of tonight's game. But I think my player of the game tonight obviously has to be Rocco Pepe. 2 home runs. Loves coming here to D.C. and hit his 3rd home run in D.C. And maybe he's looking forward to – he's licking his chops as he looks forward to July 10th when they come back here again.
Yeah, we'll see what the performance is like next week when D.C. comes to Shirley Povich Field for the first time, whether or not he's able to carry that same juju just being against the same team, the same opposition, rather than just being in the same field. Will be interesting to see that. But I'm sure he's, like you said, very much looking forward to the return visit here to D.C. in mid-July. Obviously, I probably would go with Pepe, too. I'm going to give another shout-out to Danny Nerai, catcher in the 3-hole tonight, 2nd straight game. He's been there for the Big Train, and he delivered, like we said, 3 RBIs, a couple really timely hits as well to move the order along and set things up for Pepe to really deliver big time.
Of course, the home run from Brady Gump, his first of the season, was also a keynote tonight. But, yeah, it's just been there's only 2 matchups that haven't happened this season yet, and that is D.C. at Povich, and then Bethesda at Alexandria.
We'll get that Friday night?
Yeah, we'll get that Friday night. But tomorrow night we'll be back in action. I'm forgetting who they're playing tomorrow night, but they'll be back at Povich Field tomorrow night. They'll be playing the Gaithersburg Giants. They'll probably be on the call tomorrow night. I'll be on the call with that, and Adam Gotkin, of course, for the Gaithersburg Giants. And we'll have that pregame show for you just before the game starts. But for Ben Bobek, I've been Tyler Gallo tonight, and, it's been a great game. And do you have any final thoughts for this one?
Nope. Just like we said, I think – pregame, we talked about how do they carry the momentum they generated in that doubleheader and that big win over Silver Spring. How does that pick up after a couple days off? Looks like they really made the best of the rest. Really were able to make use of those days off and come back tonight as strong as ever.
A strong win indeed, and we'll see you tomorrow night on Big Train TV. First pitch is scheduled for 7 o'clock p.m., so we'll have you call for there. We'll see you tomorrow night.
No spider tack here.